One cannot live in Venice without having heard many lengthy tales about the ghostly island of Poveglia off the coast of Venice, Italy, which Venetians call Ghost Island because of its spooky past, where it is believed that more than 160,000 people were cremated on that small island to eliminate the spread of the Black Death disease that swept Europe, among whom were alive. And some reports from people who visited the island say that about 50% of the island's current soil is ashes human. In the southern lagoon, between Venice and Lido, lies the small Italian island of Poveglia of only 7 hectares, which for centuries was a refuge, a stronghold, and a place of exile, as well as a place of confinement for the sick, the dying, and the dead. Poveglia welcomed its first inhabitants in 421 AD, a group of men, women, and children fleeing the Berber invaders who had ravaged the mainland. Not worth the trouble of invading armies. For centuries, this small community lived in peace and avoided laws and taxes on the mainland. However, its population dwindled, and by the 14th century, during the Chioggia War, the people of Poveglia were evacuated and taken back to Venice. In 1348 AD, the bubonic plague reached Venice, and Poveglia and many other small islands were used as quarantine colonies, during which time the disease killed 1 out of 3 Europeans. Fearing the unbridled spread of the disease, Venice banished many of its symptomatic citizens to that island, and it was clear that he was sentenced to death. In the center of the island, the dead and sick who could not protest were cremated in giant crematoria. This included tens of thousands of Venetians who also died on the mainland. And that wasn't the only time sick people were cremated on the island. It happened again in 1630, when the Black Death swept the city again. This is not the only use of the island, but also its use for the darker purpose of storing weapons, as Napoleon felt that the defensive position of the island was suitable for hosting the stores of gunpowder and weapons. Poveglia Mental Hospital. The story of Poveglia did not stop at the isolation of plague victims. In the late 19th century, a sanatorium was established to treat the mentally ill on the island of Poveglia, and this sanatorium was poorly built and used as a place of exile instead of rehabilitating the sick. It was rumored that in the 1930s a doctor was about to perform strange experiments on patients there, as he was trying to find a way to cure insanity by performing a lobotomy. The accounts say that he used very harsh methods such as hand drills to open the brains of patients, and it is also said that a number of patients were taken to the bell tower, where they were subjected to a special kind of torture. But no one knows for sure what happened there, because the doctor eventually got mad and threw himself from the tall bell tower in the hospital after claiming to see ghosts, and in 1968, after the hospital closed, and the island was again abandoned entirely. Although the bell in the tower was removed decades ago, locals still claim to hear its chimes from the deserted island, which has been untouched since then and has been banned from visitors. Because of all these events, the island became associated in all minds with tales of the paranormal and the most terrifying ghost adventures on Earth, and was mentioned in many literary works related to the paranormal, including a sad Polish graphic novel by Roman Petrascu and Maciej Kor, Are You Alive?, set on the island of Poveglia during the plague and centering on a sick girl and boy trying to escape from the island while being hunted by plague doctors. The novel was also mentioned in the Alex Rider series written by Anthony Horowitz, and the island in the series was a training center for assassins. Some TV shows related to the paranormal have also obtained permits to film some episodes on the island. In 2014, the Italian government put forward the idea of leasing the island with a 99-year contract in the hope that the tenant would develop the old hospital building and turn it into a luxury hotel to receive tourists. To restore the hospital and develop the island. However, this project was not completed because the government decided that his offer did not meet the conditions.